everyone, and welcome back to Jacqs Scraps. Thanks for joining me today. I will be doing a project using Santa's Little Helper. This is an exclusive collection by Country Craft Creations, and you can only get this on their website. I'll have it linked down below for you, as well as any other supplies that I picked up from there. So let me show you what I created. Here is my project. I created a cutting board waterfall card or quote holder. I'll explain more as we go along. My original idea was to get one of the cutting boards from the Dollar Tree and then make this on top of that. But I didn't get out to the store and I thought, well, I'll just make my own. And I did. I used Cricut Design Space and found a cutting board in there that I used to cut out the shape. This is 10 by 4 7/8 inches wide. And I created a template for those that don't have a Cricut or cutting machine, and then you can create it that way. So this actually ended up being like a card or sentiment holder, and I am just loving how this turned out. We have the cutting board style here. I added a ribbon closure for the inside part, which I'll show you in a moment. And then there is a closure on the front here for the waterfall. But first, let me show you a little bit of the elements that are on top. I added these great buttons, and these are from Buttons Galore and More. It's the Christmas collection holiday baking. I used all but one, which was the blue cookies, and they just didn't go. But these are so adorable. I'm loving them. Really cute. So this is a magnetic closure, and we have 5 pages in a waterfall and then a hidden pocket at the end. Now the pages are 4 inches wide and 3.5 inches tall. So here's our first one. We start out the cutting board with Claus Bakery. I love this little mixer on top, and it has a side pocket. There is a tag in it that you can pull out. I didn't add string to these. I actually tried baker's twine, but I didn't like the look of it on the side. So that would be a personal preference if you make this project. On the back side, we have a little side tuck here, and I included this little tag, which I cut down from the collection. I love this back here with the vanilla extract on there, the cherry, heavy cream. Really cute. Love the vintage style of this collection. On this page, it is a pull down or pull open page. And I just did a little fold over on the corner, added this cute little My Mind's Eye brad that says love there. I love the piano music with the dogs there. So when you pull this down, you have 2 areas to add photos. That's really what this is kind of about, an area to add photos and just a little bit of journaling. I added some photo corners here, which they're actually kind of vintage, believe it or not. I found these in my mom's stash. Look, 29 cents. So funny. So I added them there, and you can tuck something underneath there. Your photo, of course, on those 2 spots. Then this flips up, and on the back side we have another area where you could add a photo, and the dog is actually a little tuck spot as well. On our 3rd page, we have this lovely image of the hot chocolate, and this is a flip open. On this side, we have a side tuck again, great place for a photo or just some memorabilia. On this side, we have a top tuck, and in it, I have a little tag. I love this paper with the gingerbread and the little heart. So cute. So that just tucks up in there. When you open this up, this mirrors the other side, and you can tuck in here as well. And then we have this great little image of the recipe there. So you could put photos in all 3 of these spots. When we flip this up, again, I've used photo corners here, so you could add a photo there. Our next page, I fussy cut out this rolling pin image from the collection. So I made it a little tuck spot as well, like a little pocket here. And inside I cut down one of the little tags to include this cute little dog, Santa's little helper. So this is what it looks like without anything in there. It's really pretty. So this is a side pocket as well, and inside I have one of the tags, and I stapled it to a piece of white cardstock so that you could do some secretive writing here. And then on the back there is a little side tuck for anything that you'd want to put there, or a photo. On the back, I did a little bit of a doily cut here so that you'd have a nice little tuck spot, and that's what you've seen here and on this page as well. It's a doily punch from Martha Stewart. So here again, I cut down one of the tickets, or tags, I'm sorry. On our last page, I did a half pocket. So what I did was fussy cut out several images from the paper collection, and I layered them on top of each other. The spoons was one image, and then the greenery was another. Tucked in this little tag. And then I added a piece of the paper behind all of that. And then when you flip it up, I've used the photo corners again, so you could add a photo there. And this is our hidden pocket. And inside I have one of the tags that comes in the collection. I love how it's hidden. So that is the front of our cutting board. To get inside, we undo the ribbon and we open it up. And on the inside, I've used some gingham paper from Simple Stories. I did some fussy cutting here of these images, the little hot cocoa and the plate and spoon, added that here. This is a great place to add a sentiment if you're giving it as a gift, or you could actually put in your own like inspirational sentiment here. And you can actually hang this up on your kitchen if you wanted to, or lay it down on the cupboards, whatever you prefer. And on this side, you can add a photo on top of the photo mat that I've added there. Fussy cut out the little doggy and the greenery. Then on the back side, I fussy cut out the little dog and Santa's little helper here for like a logo. So that is my design team project. I hope that you have enjoyed this. It was really fun to create. And now I'm going to move right on into the tutorial. So I hope you'll give this a try. For this project, I'll be using Santa's Little Helper that is exclusive from Country Craft Creations. When I'm going through this project, I'll probably be referring to the pages in this collection, just so that you know what I'm talking about. All right. To create this project, you're going to need to cut out 2 of the cutting boards, if you will. And I did this in Cricut Design Space. I will have a link to that file in the description box below. For those that don't have a cutting machine, I did make a template for you, and that will also be provided down below with the project sheet. When you do cut these, please be careful to keep in mind that when you put them together, they should align perfectly. If you get it wrong, you'll see that the 2 pieces don't line up correctly. When you see that, then just flip your piece around, and then you should have them facing the right direction. I actually wrote on them front and back so that I would know to keep them like that when I am stacking them to create the actual project. So when I cut these out, I cut 2 out on very lightweight chipboard. You'll see that. It's very light. I'm not even sure if you would consider this chipboard. If not chipboard, use very heavy cardstock, like 110 pound or higher, to cut these. So we have 2 of these, front and back. So you'll have your 2 pieces, and what we're going to do is join them together. So you're going to need to create a hinge. This is 1 inch by 4 3/4. Score down the center and then you'll have your hinge. So go ahead, fold it. And then we're going to add this to our back piece. And we're going to add it right before it curves. You'll be able to see that. So not down here, but right here where we have a nice straight flat surface. So it's right before it starts to curve on each end. Okay, so it'll look like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you want, you can angle cut the ends here. I don't know that that's going to be necessary since we have it on the straight side. I believe it's going to get covered mostly, so you shouldn't have to do that. So go ahead, add your adhesive to your hinge. And remember, right there before it starts to curve on both the top and bottom. And once you have it, then go ahead and burnish that down. Okay, so once we have that one done, then we go ahead, add our adhesive to the top outer part of the hinge, and then we can add our top piece. So here's my front. And I'm gonna line these two pieces up. That's really the best way to do this. Don't even worry about the hinge. Just line up your two pieces. Make sure that everything is aligned. And when they are, then push the side down and burnish the side with the hinge on it. So once we have the hinge in place, we can open it up like a little booklet. So now we're going to talk about the base decorative paper that we're going to add to this. And in addition to using Santa's Little Helper from Country Craft Creation, I might also use some from Miss Sparkle & Co. paper. This is wood grain paper that I got from Joann's. Or I may use Simple Stories Wood and Gingham Basics paper pad. Again, this has some nice wood paper in it. So because this is a cutting board, I wanted it to have the wood grain look. So that's why I'm using these other papers in addition to Santa's Little Helper, which is going to be the main papers for the top. So for the base decorative paper, I'm going to start with the back side, and I'm going to use this piece right here. As you could tell, when I put this one on, it didn't line up, you see? So that's a great way to check to see if you're using the right piece. So this is the one that I want. So this will be on the back side. This is from Simple Stories. On the front, I could use this, but I thought it matched too closely with the Santa's Little Helper, if you'll see here. So what I decided to do was use the Joann's paper. I had to cut this out in two different pieces because it wasn't long enough. So I've cut the base here, and then this will be at the top, and I'll put that up here like this. You can't even tell that they're two different pieces. And I think that just looks so much better with the Santa's Little Helper because it's just a little bit darker. I think it goes better with the reds and everything and the greens. So that will be on the front. When you're doing this project, you could do it for Christmas or other holidays or just everyday decorative paper as well. So I've cut these two pieces out to go on the inside, and I use the Simple Stories paper pad again. And I will match these up. And they will go here. Once we have the front and back pieces identified, the next thing I'm going to do is add a piece on the inside here, on the bottom part. It will look like this. I'm not sure why I chose this color, but now I see I probably need to change the color of this. So I'll have to change the color of this to white, and I'll put this in there. And this card measures 4 by 5.5, and then I rounded the corners so that it would match the cutting board. and that will go here. You could add a sentiment here. You could add your own message to, if you're giving this as a gift, you could write your own message in here and sign it as well. Now on this side, I might do something decorative. I haven't thought about that yet. So that's all I have for the inside of doing the base decoration. So now that I've shown you where all of the decorative pieces go ahead and adhere them to your base piece and then come back. Okay, so I've added all of my papers. Change that to white. And we are good to go. It doesn't really matter that the front and back don't match because, you know, I assume that this could be hung on a wall or it'll be laying down. So this was the closest match that I could get for these two. Now what we're going to do is move into the items that are going to go on top of the cutting board. Okay, I have already cut and scored all of my pieces. What I'm going to do is run through each of those with you as we create them, hoping that this will help the time on the video not be as long. So the cardstock that I'm using is Artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creation, and it's olive green. I absolutely love this color. I bought it a couple months ago. I just had an inclination that I needed it, and I did. So I'm so glad I got it. So the first piece that you're going to cut is 4 inches wide by 7.5 inches long. You're going to put this in your scoreboard and score with the long end across the top at a 1/2 inch and 4. Then go ahead and burnish your score lines. And for the top 1/2 inch score line, I would burnish this in both directions. So do it backward and then do it frontward. This piece here is going to be our hinge. So the bottom piece is going to get folded backward or forward, whichever way you want to do it. And we're going to glue the 2 sides here, the outside and the top. And we're creating a pocket, a side pocket. So I'm going to flip mine backward. But before I do that, I want to put a little notch in the paper. So I'm just going to use, this is a 1.5. You can use whatever size you want. And I'm going to kind of guesstimate. It's hard to do that when. Okay, so I'm going to guesstimate where I'm going to put my little notch. And I'll get my glue. Now I see when I fold this over, there's actually a little bit that's sticking out. So I'm going to trim that off to make it even. There we go. And you'll notice that it goes right underneath the score line. So go ahead and glue the 2 sides. So now what we have is our first piece in our waterfall. This is going to go on here, and then we're going to create 5 pieces that will be part of this waterfall. They're all going to be different, so don't start making any of these ahead. Okay, so I'm just showing you here what we're going to do with it. But that will be our hinge to glue down, and that will be that. All right, let's move on to our next one. We're not going to put this down yet. We're going to wait. So go ahead and create another one of these because we need 2. Next, you want to cut a piece of cardstock that measures 11.5 by 4.5. We're going to put this in the scoreboard with the long end across the top, and we're going to score at 3 3/4 and 7 3/4. Turn it with the short end across the top and score at 1/2 inch all the way down. With our 1/2 inch at the top, we're going to cut out the left and right blocks that it has created. So it's created 3 little blocks, cut off the ends, leaving the center. So I'm just coming over here where the score line was and cutting across using that mark. Cut straight down from the top, because what we're doing is we're cutting out our hinge. So this will be the hinge. So it will look like this. Now we can burnish our score lines. Again, for the hinge, score front and backwards. It'll just make it easier to flip it. So for this one, this will be the hinge to go down, and we're going to have this be a flip out from each side. Probably make little pockets in here. For our next piece, we're going to repeat the first one that we did, which was 4 across and 7.5 inches long. We're going to put this in the scoreboard with the long end across the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and 4. Go ahead and burnish on our score lines. Now for the bottom piece, this is not going to become a pocket. This is going to be considered a flip down. So our hinge will go down on the paper like that, and this will become a little flip down like that. Okay? We're going to put like a little tab or do something on here later to make it work better. Our next piece is going to be a half pocket. So you'll need a cardstock that is 4 by 4. Put this in your scoreboard, really on any side, and measure at 1/2 inch. And then burnish again, frontward and backward. This piece will have something added to it to create a half pocket, and we'll have a little tag in there. At the bottom of our waterfall, we're going to create a pocket. So you're going to need one piece that is 4 by 3.5. On this, we are also going to do a pocket, and we're going to do it on the side to have something different. So again, we'll take our circle punch. So I wanted to kind of show you how this looks. So I'm stacking these up, and when we do it, of course, you do it hinge to hinge. And this last one will just have to hold. But our waterfall will look like this, and it'll go on here like that. And then when we lift the last one up, we will have this additional pocket under there like that. Okay? So that's where we're headed. So what we're going to do before we actually put these down is to decorate the pieces. Okay, so we're ready to decorate. And what I've done is cut one piece from the paper. It's the Toy Shop paper. This is 4 by 4 3/8. And actually that just ended up being a scrap after I cut all my other pieces out. And I'm going to put that over here. I did some fussy cutting, one of the cute little doggies, and I'm going to put him down here. I fussy cut out the little plate with the spoon, and it says blackberry. So I'm thinking I'm going to put that there. And then I also cut out the little cocoa cup. And I was thinking about putting that kind of on top of the plate. And then I fussy cut out some of the greenery. I thought about putting that behind the plate. I think it looks okay. I'm not sure. So that's how I'm going to decorate the inside. Now remember, for this project, most of the embellishing that we are doing needs to be pretty flat, especially on the inside, definitely needs to be flat. On the outside, it kind of needs to be semi-flat as well. Just because we're doing a waterfall, and if you do embellishments that are bulky, you know, it's just going to raise up your different layers and it'll look funny. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue these down and I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to walk you through all of the decorative pieces that I'm using to cover our base waterfall pieces. I've already inked all of my decorative pieces and I use Memento Cottage Ivory. I just felt it went really well. And I'm going to walk through this, but I'm not going to be able to show you exactly which paper I pulled things from. It would just take a really long time. So for example, this piece here was actually from this one, the toy shop page up here in the corner. But for me to show you every single one, it would just be too long. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out from the pieces that I've selected. Okay, so I cut this one out to be on the front. This measures 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And I think you'll find that is going to be the measurement for most of these pieces. So that's to go here on the front. Now remember, we need to cut out our little notch. On the back side, I'm going to use this little gingerbread with the cakes and everything. This measures the same, 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And that will go here on the back side. Now remember the orientation. So on the front, you know, it's upright. When you flip it over, it should be upright as well. So don't do that. Okay. Now for the front of this, I also wanted to add another piece. So what I did was I took this page and fussy cut out the rolling pin and part of the bow. So it looks like this. And what I'm going to do is put this on and put this on so it could still be a tuck spot. So I'm only going to add glue to the outline of the bottom part of this. And it will sit on there like this. I think that'll be cute. And then for the tag page, so I took all of these tags and cut them out. So what I did for this one, I just picked one that I liked. And I actually then cut some off of it. So let's see how much. So it's about a 1/2 inch that I cut off so that it would fit down into the little pocket that I'm going to create. Okay. And I might have to trim it more if it's not the right size, but that's where I'm starting. And when I do that, I'll probably punch holes and add thread or ribbon maybe. Okay, so that's how this one will be. And then for the inside, here was a tag that I wanted to put in here on the side. And the way that they fit is absolutely perfect for this size, and I didn't even plan this out. So they fit flush, which is kind of what I wanted, so that you could use the, you know, the tab mark here to pull it out, or you could add your thread and ribbon and pull it out that way. But it was amazing how they fit perfect. The only thing, they fit perfect width-wise. So lengthwise, is that right? No, lengthwise. They fit perfect lengthwise. Widthwise, which would be this way, it is very thin. So you see we have a whole big area that isn't being used. So I thought about cutting out some other cardstock pieces and adhering this to the center of it and kind of layering the tags and putting that on in here. Now I haven't done that yet, but I just wanted to show you the direction that I was going. I'm sure you've seen the final version already in the reveal. But that's just kind of what I'm thinking at this point, because I haven't made it yet, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's all the pieces for this one. Okay, next we're going to do the flip down page. And what I've done for this one, the Santa's Little Helper paper that has the music notes on it. I really like that one. So I cut this. I'm using the darker one because the Santa's Little Helper in red is really bright. So that's going to go on the front. I thought about how I would make this different so that you know it's a pull down. And I thought about bending back the corner. The problem is I'll lose the cute little doggy here. But I still think it would be a cute idea. So maybe just do it very small like that. And I thought about adding a button right here, just so that you know the direction that I'm going. So when you pull this down on this inside, what I'm doing is for the official cookie taster page, I cut this at 3 3/4. Yep. And then 3 1/4. So I cut that piece out. I'm going to put it here at the top. And then I cut the rest of that out so that I could add that here. And I did it so that the pictures and the text would continue over onto the next page. The main point of these is so that you could add photos here. So that's why I'm matting everything. Okay, so this will be the front. Then when we flip it up, I'm using the other, the back side of the Santa's Little Helper paper, because I just loved that right there. So that'll be cute on the back side. Now, I'm not really going in any particular order, sorry. Okay, for the bottom pocket piece, you could put it this way or this way, however you want to do it. But I did cut out the toy shop image. I just like that a lot. And again, this is 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. That will go here. You'll have to cut out the notch before you glue it down. For the tag, I'm using this piece. And I think this is the back side of the Toy Story. I think this is the back side of the toy shop. It has these cute little presents there. And let's see, this is 4 by 3. So this is going to end up being our tag that we pull out. I did cut this toy shop piece out of the 2x2s. I think these are 2x2s. Yeah. So that maybe I could, add it here at the top or the side, whichever way. But I just have this out as I think about how I'm going to decorate the tag to go inside. For this page, we were going to do a half pocket. So I fussy cut out some more greenery and I left it all connected so that this could end up being the pocket. Okay, so then that would go here in the corner. And then I also fussy cut out the spoons with the ribbon. So I think these might be on the same page. I fussy cut these out separately so that I could have more of the greenery. And I'm going to layer these on top of the greenery, kind of like this in some capacity, so that you get the bow and the spoons, so that you have a nice little tuck spot there. And then you could take your tag and you would tuck that in there. Now this will need to be cut down if this is the one I'm using, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose the imagery and the text, so I have to figure it out. I think I want to glue this all down first and then see how my tag fits in there and then modify it as I need to. I did not actually think about putting a paper down. That might be something else I could add. I like the idea of those being layered there and all the greenery. With your tag being put in there, it kind of, it's a cute look as well. So on the back side of this, I was going to add this paper here. It just kind of mirrors the front with the greenery. All right. Now I know I won't be showing you every single piece of decorating, but I just wanted to kind of give you the direction that I was going. Next, we're going to work on our second pocket. And I used this page that had the double images here. I cut down one of these with the cute little mixer I wanted that to be on the front. Again, we'll have to cut the notch out. On the back side, I am using the back of this paper. So this piece down here, this little corner, and that will go there. I selected the candy cane tag to go on the inside, and again, I'm going to probably layer this so it's just not the skinny tag. I'm not sure yet. But that will be that one. Okay, now we're going to work on the flip open page. This one's kind of fun. I really liked creating for this one. So I cut down, again, one of the hot chocolates on that page of 4. And this measures 3 and 9/16. It's like a little bit under 3 and 5/8. What I was trying to do was get an 1/8 of an inch border around here, and I didn't do it exact. So you could probably do it exact, which would be 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. Okay, because these aren't as large as the centerpiece. And for the, so this would be on the front. When you open it up, I cut out this piece on the back of the official cookie taster. That's without the music notes. It has the little gingerbread, and there's a cute little heart right next to it. So I'm going to put that there. This measures 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. I got that one right. And then I wanted to put a little topper on it because, you know, there was these extra images up here at the top, and I just didn't think you needed to see it. So what I thought I would do is create like a little topper. So from the candy cane paper, that's what I'm calling it, I cut this piece out. It is 3 1/2 by 1. It will go here at the top. I'm going to glue it on 3 sides so that the bottom part will be open. And then I took one of the tags, which looked like this as a whole, and I cut the top part off. Now don't ruin the top part, which is 5/8 of an inch, because what I'm going to do is actually glue this on top of the bottom piece, and I'm going to glue it on just like that at the top. I just think it looks kind of cute like that. And then this will be able to be tucked up underneath there. So I think that's super cute. Okay, so that's the front and this piece. Now on the inside, I cut out the candy cane paper. Again, I'm putting this one with the little swirls down here on this right-hand side, and the other piece over here on the left-hand side. And then I'm using this piece, which is the back of the hot chocolate on the page of 4, with the blackberry here in the center. This is a great place to add photos. I thought about adding little pockets to these, but I just haven't done that, or I'm not sure if I'm going to. So we have the front, the inside. Now the back side, when you flip this up, I am using the greenery piece. I think I was going to do it that way. And it has the little swirls, so it's a corner piece. And that will go there. So that is all of the pieces and how I'm going to put them together. I did have these kind of like a bit vintage. Look here, 29 cents. Photo mounting corners. I got these, my mom had these in her, you know, her photo stuff. And they're just black little corners that you add to, like, if you wanted to put this down, just put this on the side, and then they know to add a photo there. So I thought about using them. So I definitely think I'm going to be doing that. I just like the whole idea of that. If you don't have these, you can cut a corner off a paper and add it if it's a different color or something. There's also some in the stores. I know Heidi Swap sells them. I also have some of hers as well. But these are just really fun. I think Cricut Design Space has an image that you can use to cut them out. I think I saw something. But that's something else that I'm going to be using. I'll probably add maybe some flat gemstones or rhinestones or something as well. So that's everything you need to get you started on decorating your waterfall pages. I'm really wanting this to be a shorter video, so I'm not going to go through gluing everything down, but you see where I'm going, and I hope that's helpful. And I'll be back after I get everything glued down. Okay, I'm back. I have decorated all of my waterfall pages. Now, I forgot to mention before, but I did include this in the project sheet, that we are adding a magnet under the first waterfall page that you are creating. So mine is right underneath that little pie where the mixer is. And we're using a magnet there because we're going to have a closure. And this closure measures 4 3/4 by 1 inch wide. I've scored it on the long end at 1 inch. So this part will be folded and put underneath the bottom piece, and it will fold over to then have a magnet on the underside or top side, whichever you want, and then it will keep our waterfall pages from opening if this is you know, passed around or anything. Or even when it's hanging up, then it will help it from the waterfall pages just flapping around. So now we may need to adjust this and make it longer. I thought I had the right size, but now that I see it, I'm not so sure. So we'll just play that by ear. I'll go ahead and tell you the size of the deco paper that I'm going to be putting on top of this. And this is 3.5 inches long and 3/4 inches wide. And I did 2 of those. It will cover the magnet and then just be decorative on the bottom side. So at this point, we are ready to start putting our pages down. I don't know if you need me to go through these pages or not. You've probably seen the reveal by now, so you'll get the gist of what they look like in the end. But they are really just exactly how I told you I was going to do them. So I'm not sure I need to go through every single one. See, I did take some white cardstock, use my Martha Stewart doily punch, and then cut this out to be about 1/2 inch wide on some of the pieces. And then you can see I've used photo corners on some of them as well. This one, my little tag got bent, so I'm going to need to replace that. But that looks cute. Did add some white cardstock to this one. Made a little tuck spot on the side there with some scrap paper. Added the baker's twine, but I'm not sure if I'm liking it or not. Here again, I added the cardstock. So I'll just see when this is all done if I like the twine. Did add a back paper to this, so it looks very woodsy. I like that. Corners there. And then this is the final pocket. Okay, so let's get started. I have these in the order that I'm wanting them. I'm doing the side pocket, the flip down, the flip open, side pocket, half pocket, and then our final side pocket. So when we put these down, I mentioned before we're going to be layering them hinge to hinge. That's how we're going to be putting them down. all the way down our cutting board, and this will be our last one. There's two ways you can use this pocket. You can use the final pocket to be up against the last hinge, and then that will make it part of the waterfall where you can see it. Or you can put this all the way up underneath the hinge, okay, underneath the hinge, and then it will be a hidden pocket. Now, when you do it as a hidden pocket, you get more of a border going all the way around, and so that's what I'm going to do. When you do it as a staggered pocket like this, it goes all the way down to near the end of the cutting board, and it just kind of takes away some space. So I'm just going to do it this way so I have more space going around it. Just wanted to tell you that before I got started. Okay, let's get going on this. I'm just going to add my adhesive to the back of the hinge and put the hinge down, and again, just start staggering them. Okay, here we go with the first one. And I'm really kind of just guessing on placement. I don't have anything mapped out. Okay, you fold down the hinge and you line this up right underneath where the other hinge is. You're just butting those two up together. And if it's easier, you can flip that open just so that you can get it right. Okay. I like to just check them to make sure they're being aligned properly. And then when you have them straight, go ahead and burnish. Okay, so I see I went up too far. So I'm changing how I'm doing the pocket because I was going to do it hidden. Let's see how this looks. But now we have all this room down here. Let's see, we could add some stuff down here. Okay, maybe I will go ahead so that I have room to add some decoration there. Okay. So for this, I'm putting it underneath or on top of the hinge. So I'm going right up to where the score line fold is. Okay, so when we go to put down the final pocket, I would adhere it to the top, maybe some on the side, but leave the bottom open so that we can tuck in our arm closure. And what I found is since I changed how I was doing this, I actually cut off about 3/8 of an inch of the arm. So it is now 4 3/8 inches long, again scoring at 1 inch. I use my corner rounder to round the top 2 corners. So once we have this tucked under there and centered over where the pie is underneath, I'm just going to drop my other magnet so that the placement is good. Now I can take this back out and add my decorative paper to it. Yep, I need to resize these as well. So I just cut my second deco piece down to 3 1/8, and I'm going to add that to the back side. Okay, let's go ahead and add some adhesive to the bottom of our arm here. And we're going to slip this underneath. Now, you don't have to do this the way I did by adding this piece first. You could wait till you get this aligned and then add the bottom pocket piece. I know I made it a little bit harder on myself, but that's okay. It all works out. Okay, so there we have it. I'm going to do some decorating, and I'm going to use Sticky Thumb 0.25-inch flat sticky dots. I have these little Craftsman professional, I don't know, wire cutters, I guess. I just use these to cut the stem or whatever off the back side. So be careful when you add items to the bottom. You don't want it to get in the way of the arm. Okay, now we have a closure for the waterfall. We need a closure for the actual card part or sentiment area. You could even put a photo over here. And I thought I would do a ribbon up here at the top. Kind of gives you that apron type look, I guess. Okay, so I changed my mind about the ribbon at the top. I ended up using like this velvety red ribbon, and it's celebrated. It was in a value pack from Michael's. So I'm liking that better. I think it matches the colors more, and I just like that pop of red. It's really what I wanted. So I went ahead and finished adding these cute little buttons. These are so adorable. I just love that. And I did take off the string from the tags. I just like the cleaner look. On the back side, I did add this Santa's Little Helper, and Fussy cut out one of the dogs to add there as well. So that's cute. So that is the project. I hope that you have enjoyed this as much as I have. It was really fun to put this together, and I'll have a project sheet listed down below in the description box for you. If you make one, please tag me. I would love to see it. You could probably do this in a day, on and off, if you're working on it. It was pretty easy to do, actually. All right, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.